Next week we'll do oligopolies, and it'll take a class and a half. And then by the end of oligopolies, like the last half of the class, we're done. And then so if you're going through the syllabus, we pretty much hit just about everything on there. So that's the scoop. So today, monopolistic competition, and this is, if I was to do it all over again, like if they asked me to rewrite all the textbooks, one thing I would do is I would rename this, because monopolistic competition sounds like it's that type of market structure would sound like it is a more monopolistic, but it's really more competitive. So it's monopolistic competition, for the cool people call it like monopcomp, right? Because that's the short way of saying it. Well, okay, maybe I do that, I'm not so cool. But anyway, it saves me from saying it over and over again. But this monopolistic competition market structure is very competitive. In fact, perfect competition is really a theoretical construct. It's really not like there's ever going to be this perfect competition. Where the products are exactly the same, and the costs are exactly the same, and everything is set up. And monopolies are theoretical, and they're great ways for us to understand exchanges. Okay, so hopefully that kind of sets the stage. But monopolistic competition, like I said, you have a lot of firms, so you get. I write in 9 to 30 companies that are competing, but it could be 8 to 31. These are just numbers that I made up because I think it makes sense that to let you guys know that there's a lot of different companies that are going to be competing, and they sell products that are differentiated products. So you can't say they're exactly the same. You can't say that there's no close substitutes, because there is a close substitute for a a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Okay, there are close substitutes. But it is different than. It doesn't mean they're doing bad. It just means they're doing about average. Okay, where Starbucks has kind of been going this direction. Okay, so they're doing a little bit better than average right now. So you can look at the stock price to get an idea of what companies are making a little bit more than normal profit. Okay, for some, Disney's really picked up recently. Why does that make sense to you that Disney would pick up in their stock prices? Why do you think they've been doing a little bit better lately? Making greater than normal economic profit. Summer's coming, so that could help a little bit. Maybe a few more visitors.
There's more job opportunities, so people are able to go on vacations, I guess.
Okay, so you're thinking if the economy makes a difference, and that's an excellent point. The weather makes a difference, that's an excellent point. And these are some of the seasonal factors. They are cyclical. Yours is cyclical, yours is seasonal. All right. And another thing that's happened too, and you guys. I don't know if you know this, but Disney now owns like a lot of, they own Marvel. Right? So Marvel is, what they make action movies, right? And so they means like every guy knows what Marvel does. Right? I'm not sure it's like the date movie, but they're saying that the new Avengers movie is expected to bring in over 200 million the first weekend it comes out, and I think May 1st, right? So you'll be there. I'll be there. I'm not sure which theater I'm going to go to. But the funny thing is that I think I was watching. I've never seen the show before, but Jimmy Kimmel had like every Avengers person on the other night, and he was like doing his little monologue before the show, and he said, so 200 million. They expect to make over $200 million in the first weekend, and he says, just imagine if those guys bring their dates with them, right? So then the people get it. Like obviously, there's not going to be like any women showing up, but it's like all guys. And but I don't know. I mean, Marvel's it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, guys are cool in it, right? So guys, and they. Customers of those places, you always see those grades up behind the counter somewhere. They have to be visible what the grade they got from the health inspector is. And that's government intervention. And if it's like grade below B, be careful. Because in any place that's a C grade, you don't even, you got to do pretty bad to be like a C grade for a restaurant. So if you see a C, then turn around and go out the door and find another restaurant because it's not a good thing to do. We've had some of these places over here get very low grades, and I know why, because I've had friends get sick that went there. So it is a restaurant. So once it's a low grade, you just got to then obviously stay away. But that's how the government intervenes in this market. But you can also put grocery stores, and there's not a lot of government intervention in grocery stores, although they do go and check out like where the the deli areas and the meat cutting areas where there's expensive food. But there's some government intervention. There is also, you can put the hotel industry in here, and whether they don't do a lot in the hotel industry either, right? But they do make sure that the rooms are properly cleaned and all that. So that's how it works, okay? That there's some government intervention. There is a lot of advertising. In this industry. Okay, a lot of advertising. In fact, it's probably what differentiates the products for the most part is the advertising. So these two are somewhat connected, and I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I want to do like a little example for you to show you why why these companies do what they do, how they make their decisions. And I'm also going to do what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to explain like one of the first questions that we went over on our first day class. I asked you a question on the first day class, and I'll get to that too. Okay, so here's how it will work. All right, we have this is going to be a mile long strip, and we're going to be on the beach. Okay, so this is going to be, what do you think that is? Yeah, it's like a cart, right? See, so I think my drawing is very good, isn't it? And then, and I didn't even go to school for this, believe it or not, right? But check out that drawing ability. So that is our this is our beach. Okay, when we say this is a beach, and a mile-long strip of a beach. So on this side is just parking the whole way, you could say, and then this side is all, just the ocean. And so this is a mile-long strip. And at this end of the strip, we have a cart, like a umbrella, and it can roll, and you can basically put your cart wherever you want. And then at this end, there's the same thing. Okay, so on this end of the beach, we're going to have two different groups that are going to run each of these two businesses. So this will be a business here, and this will be a business here. And we'll have the ladies in the class will run this business here, and the guys in the class will run this business here. So first thing, first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out, so the ladies got to answer this question. All right, so where would you locate your business? Right? You can locate anywhere you want, but once you're there, you can't really get up and move during the day too much, but you can put your business wherever you want on the beach. So where are you going to put it?
Next to my competition.
Where? In the middle. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so in the middle. Let's just say you put yours in the middle. Now, anybody who's walking down the beach all this way, they're going to go to you, and probably some of the people, probably at least these people all the way through here, are going to locate near you. So by putting yourself right in the middle, you basically have stolen almost all the competition on this side. So you probably are going to run at least 2/3 of the beach will be yours. So it's good. We'll put you in the middle. All right, I like that. Draw this again, unfortunately, but okay. So this will be the ladies. Okay, guys. Where are you going to locate it? Right beside us? Okay. All right, so we're gonna go here, and then here, and then there, there, and there. Okay, so I'm trying to make, it should be the same size, so sorry about that. It's a little bit bigger, so this is the guys, one here. Now think about that from a competition standpoint. Do you think that businesses do that, competitive businesses would actually do that, like locate near the competitors? Yeah. Yeah, it happens all the time, right? CVS, like in Walgreens, if you look at what Wendy's did with their first at least couple hundred restaurants, they located where? It's right beside McDonald's, but you're close, right? But they did, because Bojangles wasn't so popular, back when Wendy's started, right? As popular as it is right now. But they located right next to McDonald's, because what they did is they looked at it like, hey, if somebody wants a hamburger, where are they going to go? Well, if they want a hamburger, they're going to go to McDonald's. So look, I'm going to go, and I'm going to locate right next to the people, right next to people who are going to be serving them, right? So now, if they see, hey, there's Wendy's hamburgers right next to McDonald's hamburgers, they're going to go, hey, let's try the Wendy's spot. And so it's like the customers are just drawn to you because you're locating right next door to the #1 hamburger place in the world, right? So that's how it works. Malls do the same thing. That's where all the people go to shop. Where are they going to shop? At the mall, right? So they go. So we want to be at the mall because that's where, when people shop, that's where they go. So I want to be where they are, so I can sell them my products. But it's not just retail, guys. It's the banking industry. It's the same way. All the bigger banks, they want to be in New York, or even Charlotte has become the banking mecca of the United States, right? We're either number 2 or 3 in the country, right? I think it's New York and Charlotte and San Francisco, pretty close. So we are a big banking center. Same thing's true about the Silicon Valleys, where you take all the brightest and best thinkers, creative thinkers, and they go out there and they work, or Research Triangle Park in Raleigh, right? All the really smart people who do engineering go to try to work over that way. I mean, when Spartanburg moved into, when BMW moved into Spartanburg, Michelin followed, and other suppliers followed, and then so Spartanburg has become a pretty big area for car production, and so that's how it usually works, right? That there becomes an area where the people go who want to compete. And you think, well, why would you want to do that? Because that's where the people who are shopping for your product are going to go. They're going to go look there. So you'll notice bars are located near bars, restaurants are located near restaurants, hotels are located near hotels. And so this is one of the first things we talked about this semester, is how that happens. Okay, so that's number 1. Now, I'm going to give you guys some products. So ladies, this is your pool cart. You can put whatever items you want on there, food and drinks. So let's give me 3 items that you'd like to sell at your cart.
Shaved legs.
Okay, good. Shaved legs. That is talk about a good business. Ice and syrup. Talk about a good product margin there. That's a good one. Yeah.
Sunscreen.
Sunscreen, that's not food. We'll get to that.
Water.
So, what?
Beer.
Beer. Yeah. We see where this is going. Okay. Shaved ice and beer. Right? For the kids and the adults. Right? Hey, what else do we do?
How about like margaritas?
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, they have opened the gates 7 times. These guys are like, well, I thought I'd have to be conservative, but not. So Jello shots, no. What are we gonna sell at this place? Ice cream. See, that down. Ice cream. That's right.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs.
Anything you can actually eat.
All right. Hot dogs are good. Anybody who actually wants to eat something rather than just say beer? And beer too? Okay. Hot dogs, beer. Okay. Ladies, what? I'll give you three more things that you can put on your, and it could be food too.
Hot dogs.
Okay, so there's not a lot of originality here. Hot dogs, beer. What? Pizza.
Pizza. Wait, no, pizza's fine. You only eat hot food. Okay.
No, that's cool.
Popsicles.
Alright,
You can do sandwiches. No. Okay.
Funnel cakes are good. Yeah. Sandwiches. What was the other one you said? Sandwiches. Pizza. Or popsicles. Not popsicles. And what was yours? Funnel cakes.
Okay.
So those are your three. Okay, guys. Anything else, or we good with just
Some like sweet tea or something.
so like a soft drinks? I like that. Soft drinks. That's good. All right. Anything else? Guys, help me out here. Yep. Popcorn on the beach.
No.
Hey.
No, I don't want to. You don't eat something on the beach.
Salty popcorn. Yeah. Popcorn is fine. Chips. Chips. Snipes and that type of thing. All right. What else? Because you need that to go with that hot dogs anyway. Anything else, guys? No more? I can think of something.
Water.
Water is good.
That's a great answer.
That is a good answer. All right. All right, ladies, you like your menu there?
We're gonna lose no matter what.
No.
All right. Okay, no funnel cakes? Well, you could add, I'll tell you what, you could add something. You can add one more thing.
Candy.
Lemonade. Yeah, you don't have anything here.
We sell not food things for like stuff.
Yeah, that's coming up.
We sell cornhole.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. That's the next thing. Guys, how about you?
Some water.
Huh? Okay, so there's your menu. Hopefully you like it. All right, now the next thing is, okay, so I'll give you 3 items that you can sell, but just take a look at your menus. How do they look compared to the other ones? Very similar, right? So we both have hot dogs, both have beer, both have, sort of the soft drinks. They have lemonade, they have regular soft drinks. There's a nice variety here. There's a nice variety here, and so there's a little bit different. But that's, again, think about menus when you go to restaurants. There's a lot of overlap, but there's also a lot of there's also a little bit of creativity. Right? So if you go down Dave Lyle Boulevard and you're looking for, you compare menus, you're going to see that there's very similar menus. Okay, just let me ask this question: how much? We'll start with the ladies. How much will you charge for, let's say, 16 ounce cup of beer? Yeah, for class.
$2.50.
$4.
Yeah, literally no idea. Let's do 4.
All right, guys, what are you going to charge for beer? 3. Okay. They're charging 3. They're charging 4. I know we're on about. You want to change it? You're okay with your overpriced beer?
No. How much does it cost to buy the beer?
Kegs are really cheap, and you can make a ton of money off of it. I charge them $3, you can charge $2.
How much is it then? 50 cents?
Well, I don't know exactly how much it is. It's been like a couple weeks since I've worked there. So, are you guys okay with the $4 price?
No, $2.50.
Okay, $2.50. Do I hear lower, guys?
$2.50. $2.50.
$2.50 as well? All right. $2.50 as well. All right, how about hot dogs. How much? Yeah, we'll start with the guys. What do you charge? $1. $1. That's good. And then, ladies, how much charging for hot dogs? $1.50. All right. Close enough. Okay. And for soft drinks. Or for lemonade, ladies?
$1.50. We don't want some lemonade here, so we're the only ones with lemonade.
Yes, so you have a little bit of market price setting power like that.
$3. Let's do how many is lemonade?
I'll pick 6 lines.
Let's do 3. Hey, let's do 3.
Alright, great. Soft drinks, guys. 2. Yes. Alright. Guys, I think these guys are happy with their choices. Alright, now, let's go to 3 other items that you could sell here, like originally you said sunscreen. So we'll put that in here.
Cornhole.
Sunscreen would be 1. 2 other items.
Cornhole and frisbee.
That's good. Like, sell it. Like rentals. Okay, I'll put rentals here. Okay, so you. That's like, yeah.
An umbrella.
Okay, so, alright, so you have 2 items, sunscreen, and then you have some rentals, and all the rentals can be kind of wide open. Any other items you want to sell?
Umbrella.
Umbrellas? You can rent umbrellas and things like that. Okay, so look at it like umbrellas. That's a good one. I like that. And
Oh, no, those drink caps, where it's like you can put 2 drinks on the side, and they're like,
okay. Alright, guys, 2 things to sell. Towels are good. T-shirts. That's good.
Portable phone chargers.
What was that?
Portable phone charger, like a spot to charge your phone.
Oh, yes. Interesting.
yeah, well, there's a lot.
That happens pretty. Okay. Anything else that you want to add to what you're selling here? Anything? Anybody, ladies, want to
We
sell?
would like a Wi-Fi station.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll say that at yours, you're going to have Wi-Fi, but I think they're going to be able to steal it. My guess.
No.
Right? But okay, because they will, because they're guys. So alright, so what else? Anything else that you have here, like a ball or anything like that?
We have bathrooms.
Okay.
What kind of card is this?
We have crab
Okay. So anything else like your atmosphere? What will your atmosphere be like at this? The ladies will start with you.
Magical.
Right? But wow, what are you going to do to make this atmosphere fun?
Play tropical.
What do you do?
Are you quiet?
Tell me. You can't tell me. Okay, don't tell me if you can't tell me. So you have the Wi-Fi here and anything else like.
Male models.
Well, it's really not. Anything else that you want to like kind of promote here at your location, like music or something like that?
Yeah, we have
Music, like what kind of music? Classical. Give me, what kind of? Like a band or DJ or? Alright, guys, what are you going to have here?
Music too.
Alright, last one, okay, we'll start with the guys. You get to pick 2 workers. I want to know what they're going to look like, male, female, young, what age, not what they're going to look like, but what age and so guys, right? Who are you hiring? 2 females. so like 22, wearing what? Okay. Huh? Bathing suits? Okay, so wearing bathing suits. Guys, you got guys wearing bathing suits?
You got the draw on the women.
Do we get to pick with it?
Like no speedo. Hey, I'm not going to a place where a guy's wearing a speedo. I'm not. I'm just saying. It's just, okay, so bathing suits, but okay. Bathing suits. Alright, so that's, gotcha. Suits. And then where he, anyway, so bathing suits, that's what they're wearing, guy, girl, 22-ish. Okay, girls? Who are you hiring? Yes.
Okay, we want hotter guys and girls working there.
Dog working there?
Working.
Okay, we want to go there.
Guys.
Yeah, hotter guys and girls, and one would be like
20? Yeah, because 22 is old.
That's whoa.
All right, and okay, so they've got the so look. Okay, and they're wearing what?
Bikinis.
No, we need to guys. No body.
It's a guy, yes. Everybody.
All right, the guys wearing what? So, all right, so the guy wearing what? Just shorts, maybe? Shorts.
Yeah, I'm fine about it.
All right.
And socks.
You said so you would like a middle-aged, 5'4" type guy, right? Oh, my God. No, that's right.
Must be at least 6 feet.
Okay, 6 feet. Oh, 6 feet. So that's not fair.
Oh, yeah, that's
You're almost
Alright, so we know who we're hiring. Now, the interesting thing, guys, is that as much as this has just been free-flowing, this is kind of this happens in reality too. It kind of does, because what ends up happening, if you think of all these things that happen in monopolistic competition industries, okay, they, number one, sell similar products. Number two, charge similar prices. Number three, locate near each other. Number four, hire similar people, right? You guys are both looking for young, male, probably looking for people with good personalities. Guys don't but people who are outgoing and young and in shape, and so you kind of have that same view of what you're looking for. If you walk into a restaurant and who's the first person you see?
The hostess.
Hostess. And what does the hostess usually look like?
very attractive.
And how old is the hostess usually?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right? So why is that? I don't see people like me there, right? Sit down. You don't see older guys doing it. You typically see, bubbly young people doing that job, mostly females, because they like to hire similar people. That's kind of how it works. Okay, so so they hire similar people. They actually pay similar salaries. But at the end of it, they have a little bit different thing that they're trying to sell. Something that they can differentiate. Some way they can differentiate. So when this group was trying to differentiate by being a little peachy, these guys were having like this fun place to puppies. Puppies, I guess, are like the attention grabber. Right?
They are.
That's good. So, okay. So what you've done is you've proven all the things that are pretty consistent with monopolistic competition. If left freely, up to people, up to the businesses, this is what you're going to get. And that's pretty cool. So you guys just did a really good job with that. So and you kept it, pretty simple. So that was good. So that was good. Okay, but do you understand that why that happened? It happens because of the competition. You see what they have, you can copy it, they're beating you, so you can steal what they did. And you know, obviously if there's copyrights, you can't steal everything perfectly, but you can kind of copy their ideas. You can look at what they're doing and learn from it. And so that's why you see a lot of consistency and a lot of foundational things with these monopolistically competitive markets. Okay? A lot of hotels have similar themes. For instance, would you rather go to a hotel that has an entrance from the inside, the rooms you enter from the inside, or that you'd like to have an entrance from the outside?
Inside.
Inside. Okay, so most newer hotels aren't what they call motels, right? Motels, you drive up and you enter in from your room, and that's kind of gotten a bad rap. And so most of the newer places are going to be, you enter into this really nice lobby, and everything is from the inside because it's safer, and so that's become the newer theme. So you see this stuff happening like a lot. Same thing's going to be true when you're going for, when you look at who's Google hiring, who's Yahoo hiring, who are these companies, what are they looking for when they go to hire people? What do you think they're looking for? Young people, number one. What else? Yeah, some technology majors. Okay. So if you walk into one of their interviews and you look really sort of like stiff, and you have your tie pulled right up, way up high, you're wearing this really nice suit, that may not work as well as if you were going for an interview at the bank. That might work great. But if you're going for Yahoo or Google, that's not them. They're looking for the creative person, the young person who's maybe a little bit less worried about their outward appearance, but they just have their good thinkers, So it's the same thing's true, right? There's a certain brand of people that people are looking for when they hire. So does that make sense? Okay? All right. And I'm sure for a lot of you guys, you probably say, if I said, what's the typical school teacher look like, a high school teacher, you probably can give me a pretty good description of who you would expect to be in a high school class. Pretty good description. I mean, not perfect, but you probably have some pretty good attributes. This is your typical school teacher. So that's how it works in the industry. Now, let me go through a couple more characteristics real quick, okay? The main difference with this market structure is this concept of product differentiation. So the product differentiation here is really important because you figure how do they differentiate their product. How do they do that? And the main way that they differentiate their product is there's really three. Number one is advertising. And advertising has two different ways. There's two different kind of modes. I'm sure if I was teaching marketing, there'd be 100 different things to look at with advertising. But I'm just doing econ, and we don't really focus that much on advertising. So I'm just going to give you two different categories. It's either combative or constructive. Okay, either combative advertising or constructive advertising. So we have combative and we have constructive. And constructive is when they give you information about their product. So you drive, you look at some of these car commercials, and I was watching one the other day. I can't remember what car it was, which probably was bad. But this lady's driving out of her, pulling out of her driveway with her kids, and the back seat, the kids are yelling and stuff, and there's another little kid running by the end of the driveway, and the car automatically stops. Okay, so that's good information, right? So what does that car do? Well, it brakes when it brakes by itself when it sees something behind it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, so if I'm looking for a car that does that, if I'm looking for a safety issue, that's a really good safety issue. So they're giving me some information about the car. And that's constructive, and that's a good, so that's a good way to kind of give your information out. The combative just means we're just advertising because they're advertising. And if you're looking for combative advertising, look no further than AT&T and Verizon. That's what they do. It's we're going at you, and you guys stink, and you stink, and your mother stinks, and your mother stinks, and it's really personal. And you're like, hey guys, it's just a cell phone for crying out loud. Okay, but they do, right? They spend a lot of money because the other one spends a lot of money. Same thing's true with like beer commercials, and Coke and Pepsi seem like they do that too, where they advertise so much because they want to make sure that their name is still out there because somebody else is kind of, you know, putting them down. And political advertising is typically combative. If you guys, the biggest, the highest, the race that more people, there's more money spent on the North Carolina Senate race last election than the history of races, of Senate races, not presidential, because those two just went at it. The two that were going after, you know, the Democrat and the Republican, they just like battling each other, and it was all combative. And that's advertising, but so there's just two different types. Okay, now the other thing that you could do, that's important, is the service. The way that you can differentiate is through service. Like my product, what we do is we serve you better. Okay, and I was watching a episode of The Office the other night. Maybe you watch that show. Okay, it was on Netflix, so I don't think it was like something that was a recent one. But they were doing this thing where the two salesmen went out to a business and they were trying to get a client. And this client said, "Look, why would I go with you? Why should I go to you when the bigger companies have better prices?" And as soon as they got into the office, one of the guys, I don't know anybody in the show's name, but one of the guys who was on the show said, "Can I use your phone to the customer?" So he basically takes the customer's phone and he calls one of the bigger companies up, and he's on hold. So but he leaves the phone right on the desk. So he goes in, he puts the phone on hold, and he leaves the phone right on the desk. And then this question finally arises in the meeting of, you know, why should I go with you? The other company has lower prices. And the guy from the office goes, "You're still on hold at that company. And if you were calling our company, then we could get your order in like that." So they do that, and they call up their own company, the office, and somebody answers the phone right away, and they get, you know, the opportunity to place an order right away. So it was their way of proving that their company has better service. I thought it was brilliant. It really was brilliant, and I thought, wow, I've got to get that for class. Okay, but I didn't get it in time. But I will get it for some other future class. But that's what I mean. How do you sell yourself? How do you sell what you're doing? And the answer is, you know, I'm better. I'll provide this for you. Okay, financial planners. I'll provide this. I will provide this service for you. You will know who I am. It won't be once a year that you hear from me. Okay, the next one is quality. You can differentiate by quality. This was the whole Wendy's when they first came into the market. They said, "We're going to have a better quality hamburger than McDonald's." How are we going to be better than them? Our hamburger is going to be, well, number one, they'll be square, so that's just trying to differentiate. But number two, it's going to be like, there's going to actually be beef in it. Okay, so they have this big marketing campaign called "Where's the Beef?" where they would basically make fun of McDonald's hamburgers, go, "Where's the beef?" Right? And the little old ladies like looking for the beef. Where's the beef? And that was her thing, but that was a great marketing campaign because she's trying to show that their restaurant, I guess that's what we call those things when this is a restaurant, but let's say their restaurant is better, has better quality. So that's how they differentiate. Okay? So the next thing is, I'm going to just do one more thing. I'm going to show you guys the graph. What would the graph look like for a monopolistic competition firm? And so we're going to do we're going to do two graphs. We're going to do monopolistic competition firm in the short run and monopolistic firm in the long run. So that's the only difference. So we're not doing the industry because you can't do the industry with this. We're just going to do the individual company. And you can imagine that they're going to have the same attributes in a lot of ways as the regular monopoly, right? They want to maximize their profits, but there's some constraints. So here's how it would work. And we have this. So this is a graph for a monopolistic comp. It's a little q. The little q represents a firm. So that means a firm is just one company within the industry. So we'd be looking at, that, say, Harris Teeter would be one company within the grocery store industry. Or Vilo would be one company within the grocery store industry. So we're looking at that one company here. We have the prices here, the quantity here, and the difference now, though, is that the demand curve is a little bit flatter. The flatter the demand curve, the less price setting power they have. So if I was to say to you, okay, you're going to open up your own restaurant and you're going to sell chicken sandwiches at your restaurant. Let's say it's a Chili's or it's a, whatever else is out there, Longhorn or Logan's or whatever, right? So whatever's out there at the table alley, you're opening up your own restaurant and you're going to sell chicken sandwiches. At the restaurant, what's the price going to be? What price will you set? $6, okay? Anybody set a higher price? Would $9 work? Okay? Possibly? Maybe, okay? So we're saying maybe 6 to 9. How about, would $12 work for a chicken sandwich? Yes or no? No, okay. So we get sort of a range. So, like if this was perfect competition, you'd say, okay, everybody charges, $1.99 for a gallon of gas. Everybody. Okay, same thing, homogeneous product. But it's not. It's a range. So the monopolistic competition means you get a kind of a range of prices. So we would say that some people would be willing to spend $9 on a chicken sandwich, and some people would be willing to spend $6, and actually the restaurant won't sell more than that anyway because there's nobody who's going to charge less than $6 for it. So they see this is a range. So your demand curve is a little bit flatter because you're staying within a certain range for your prices. Does that make sense? Okay, so anytime there's a downward sloping demand curve, there's going to be a downward sloping marginal revenue curve. And that looks something like that. So far, no big deal. Really, the only difference between this and monopoly so far is our demand curve is a little bit flatter. So the third line that goes in there is going to be your marginal cost curve. So you take your marginal cost curve and smooth that in, and life is good. All right, that's it. That's all you need. So if you're to find your profit maximizing price and you're to find your profit maximizing quantity, then this is all you need. So where would you go to start to find, let's say, P star, which is your profit maximizing price, and Q star, which is your profit maximizing quantity? How would you begin? How do you always begin?
Where MR meets MC.
And where MR equals MC. It's like your motto, right? Where do I begin? I go to where MR equals MC. It doesn't mean that's where you stop, but that's where you begin. So you go to this point right here. Then what do you do to find the quantity?
You go up, quantity.
Quantity you go down. And to get the price, you do what?
You go straight up.
You go up.
To demand curve and go over.
And then go over. Excellent. So let's just say in our case here, they'll settle at like $7.50. Okay, so that would be our price. Okay? So it's not any different except for the fact that the line's a little bit flatter. That's okay, right? Because that's, it doesn't really make a difference. And the same way they set pricing. And the same way they set quantities, same way they set prices. Right? Everybody's okay with that, correct? All right, so let me just kind of add a little bit. So I'm just going to do the same graph, but we're just going to add in a cost curve, another cost curve. So we'll put the average cost in there. Here's your marginal cost. And now I'm going to put an average cost curve in about right here.
That'll bring your profit box.
Yeah, exactly. That will help me to do a profit box. So now that I know, now when I would ask an additional question, I can not only do a profit box, but I can do a dead weight loss, I can do consumer surplus, producer surplus, and basically, guys, this is a question on your final exam, right? I'm just giving it to you right now. You will have a question like this, where you'll say, monopolistic competition, here's your question. Number 1, find the price. Number 2, find the quantity. Number 3, show the profit box. Number 4, show the dead weight loss. Number 5, if this was, show the area of producer surplus. Number 6, show the area of consumer surplus. So I can ask all those questions from this graph right here. Okay, so I'll go through them real quick and then I'll be done. Because I have to give you guys the course evaluations and I think it's okay, so here's how it works, right? Set the questions. Again, find price, find quantity, find profit. Then show consumer surplus, show producer surplus, show deadweight loss. Okay, so we go I go to marginal revenue equals marginal cost. I go up and over. Here's the price. Go down. Here's the quantity. All right, and then go take my price. My formula for profit is this. So I would start at Q star, right? I start at Q star. I go up to the average cost line, put a dot. Go up to the price line, put a dot, and that becomes my box, my profit box. Like that. Let's see. So, did I lose anybody? Or this is the same thing as Monopoly, so we're good, right?
Wait, can you go over how you got a profit box again?
The profit box, I use this is the best way to remember it. You go through your formula. You go to Q star, which is here. And at Q star, I go up to my average cost curve, put a dot, go up to my price. So I go just like this, Q star to AC to price, Q star to AC to price. And that gives me my profit box. And then I can just say this area up here is consumer surplus, because it's the difference between the price and the demand curve. That's consumer surplus up there. This is the deadweight loss. That kind of stands out, and then this here is your producer surplus. And you got all that, and this is not any different than a Monopoly graph, and it's exactly what we did with Monopoly graph, except the line is a little bit flat. That's all. But all the marginal revenue because marginal cost is the same. All the consumer surplus and producer surplus definitions and areas are the same. The profit box is measured the same way. So it's the same thing we did before. Okay? All right, so what's left with monopolistic competition? The only thing that's left is the long run. It'll take me like 5 minutes to do the long run. It's just one more graph. It's also, the long run is pictured on your notes, so I recommend doing those. So the notes are online. And the big thing about this though is that it's still inefficient. Okay, there's still a deadweight loss. Even though it's more efficient than a monopoly, it's still inefficient. There's still a deadweight loss, and they're not operating at the full. They're not. Well, not only are they not operating at full capacity, but they're not producing at the minimum point of the average cost. Okay, so I'll leave it there. And you guys have. Did the attendance sheet